So let me ask you this. 14 years in the Marine Corps, you joined in 2009, and which is an amazing story coming from Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
No, thank you.
How did we get? When was the first time you considered getting out, and what was the straw that broke the camel's back, and you said, "I'm done"?
Yeah. So that's a very good question. Very well put. So here's the sequence of events that led me to that. Man, and I don't know how deep I should go with this, but I'm gonna
Very.
Okay. So I was on recruiting duty. I was a top recruiter for the 6th Marine Corps District in 2018.
Got it.
My problem was that I let my intentions know way too early, and a lot of people took advantage of me, specifically my command.
What do you mean you let your intentions be known?
I wanted to be an 8412. That means a career recruiter, and I let it know from the get-go.
You were like, I'm in this.
And they set the bar here. I would go over here, and they will move the bar over here. No matter how much I did, how many contracts. Listen, I was 61 points away when I went on the first meritorious board for gunnery sergeant.
Yeah.
I was 61 points. The guy that was closest to me was 61 points away from me. You know how many contracts is that? That's around 12 to 15 contracts. That's a lot. In recruiting, that's a lot.
Okay.
There was 3 months that in those 3 months, I put 21 people in the Marine Corps. The average is one or two a month.
One or two a month, and you put in 21.
I put 21 in that 3 month mark.
Okay.
Yes.
Were any of them fruit bats?
No, believe it or not.
If you guys don't know what a fruit bat is, it's a recruit that get.
Yes.
It's a recruit that. What do?
Yeah.
They get on the pull-up bar.
You're like, hey.
And they just hang. You're like, right? And then they come to me as the drill instructor, and they do get hurt.
Yeah,
physically.
So
you know what I'm saying? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. So anyways, they kept setting the standard, and I got tired of it.
Yeah,
I got tired of it, and they took, because of my big ass mouth, they took my package away twice from going, because they took it away that one time, and then another thing happened was the MEPS was screwing with us. We went to the command, nothing was being done, so I went up to MEPS. And I was like, hey, listen, this is freaking bullshit. MEPS commander called my commander. My commander flew from Florida to Puerto Rico just to chew my ass. He took my package and he was like, nope. Put it in the trash can.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyways,
Did you have the authority to do that?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. It was still.
Who approves an 8412? It was an 8412.
Well, they have to submit me. No, not the 8412. I'm talking about the meritorious package, because I was a trouble child, right? I was a trouble. But he's not the promoting authority. Yeah. The only reason why they put up with me the way that they put up with me was because if the
Hold up. So you're telling me that a guy without the authority to promote you took your package and threw it in the trash?
Well, he still had to recommend me.
But he didn't do either one. He didn't recommend you or not recommend you.
Well, exactly. So
that's BS, man.
Well, it's done now, and that was the first thing. So let me tell you what that led up to me.
So,
right?
But you were rocking and rolling.
Yeah,
9 years in the Marine Corps.
I was like, hoorah,
and then,
hoorah,
boom! I want to be a career recruiter.
Yeah. Oh, after that, I was like,
you're getting messed with.
Yeah.
And then that was the first time where you said, what did you say to yourself? I can't do this?
No. That was not the first time.
Nobody has my back.
Like, nope.
What did you say?
No, I don't like the victim mentality, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
So what I did was I was like, got it. So I've dedicated all my time, effort, my marriage. I was one signature away from getting a divorce in recruiting duty. Mm-hmm. One signature away.
You're married?
I'm
currently?
still married. Yes,
to the
same woman.
Okay.
Yes. I was one.
That's awesome.
I was one signature away from getting a divorce, and I was like, nah. I'm not gonna let these people, because I see that's the first time that I realized how expendable you are. That no matter how good you are, it's not worth your family. And it's not worth your mental sanity, because that really fucked with me. That was the very first time that in a recruiting duty.
Yeah, but that's the way we're bred as Marines.
Correct.
Sacrifice everything.
Yep.
And at the first sign of trouble, we'll get rid of you.
And that's exactly what happened to me.
What would you say to recruiters out there right now going through something similar or just having a hard time? What would you say to them? They hate it. They hate their command. They're like, man, I can't do this. I want to get out. This isn't the Marine Corps I signed up for. What would you say?
First of all, I would say do not get that victim mentality.
What do you mean when you say that? Can you give me like an example?
Yeah,
or two?
Of course. You're already in there. There's no, unless you completely quit, you're going to bring dishonor to your name. You're going to bring dishonor to your family. And it's not going to affect you positively financially either. So
you're talking about if you just decide to get out.
If you just decide to get out, or if you decide to just simply tap out in whatever SDA it is, right? Don't do it. You're already there. You might as well make the best of it. That's the best piece of advice that I'm gonna tell you, because at the very beginning.
But Gunny, I'm trying. I'm depressed.
I'm gonna tell you the secret sauce. And trust me, the reason why I'm so passionate
is your secret sauce better than Chick-fil-A sauce? Because let's be honest,
it's 100% better, because it will make you a lot of money.
Hell yeah.
Both inside of the Marine Corps and outside of the Marine Corps. This is the secret sauce specifically for recruiters. The secret sauce that I had, I set myself goals while I was in the while I was on recruiting duty. Meaning, I will not stop working until 3 different people swore into the delayed entry program. I'm not talking about going to MEPS. I'm not talking about taking the ASVAB. I'm not talking about taking the physical. I'm talking about swearing into the delayed entry program. I will literally not stop working. Because once you do that, you develop what we call in recruiting duty a bucket. And once that bucket is big enough, your hands back. I could tell my boss, I'm out. And then I wouldn't have to do anything, because I already had 3 contracts. That's one more. That's how I was able to recruit all those people. Because at the beginning, they're going to disqualify you a lot of people.
Sure.
It's just that a lot of people, specifically Marines, in the fleet, you get praised as soon as you do something. Or you can have a big ass mouth, or you can know how to talk to people, and you can get away with that. In recruiting duty, you can be the best talker, but if your numbers don't actually show up, it's about production. So, people will sit your ass down and be like, man, shut the fuck up. How many contracts you got for this month? So I was like, hey, listen, I know what I need to do. I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to dictate my own terms. By the way, that little thing that I just told you guys, that is what made me successful also outside of the Marine Corps.
Not being a victim?
Not developing a victim mentality, and being able to identify what needs to be done and do it.
To me, when you say, don't be a victim, what I think of is, am I looking inward? And am I holding myself accountable, making sure that I have done everything I can do, going back to the effort? And if I haven't, shut up and get back to freaking work.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you say, am I even close?
No, you're 100% spot on.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you're spot on.
Okay, so that was the first off the rails, was recruiting.
Yeah.
Okay, now what was the straw that broke the camel's back where you're just like, and how did you even get there?
Most people in my MOS, I got.
What was your MOS?
3152. So that's distribution management. So DMO, yes.
So you're like helping people move their household goods.
Well, I never did that. I never did that while I was in. I could have done that, but that's what I was going to. Right. Most people go from an SDA, which is demanding, to one of those. It's called PIPSO, personal property, or what's called PTO, which is passenger travel. Doing the passports and doing all that stuff. Yep. Right. I was like, hell no, I'm gonna go back to a deployable unit.
Yeah.
And that was in 2019. I got back to the fleet in September of 2019. Okay. By January of 2020, I was already deployed.
Yeah.
I came back. I did staff sergeant's course, or career school.
Career school, yeah.
Yeah, I did career school, and then from there, I deployed.
Yeah.
Got back. I chopped over to the SP MACTAF literally like 3 months later. And I deployed again in 2020.
What'd you think about the career school? Was it good, bad? Check in the box?
It was definitely a check in the box.
Yeah. Why don't we make education why isn't it accredited? You know what I mean? I know that you get some college credits, but why isn't enlisted education, in your opinion, more geared toward from the gate, right? Lance Corporal Leadership and Ethics Seminar, all the way up to, First Sergeant's Course, Master. Why aren't our academies like you will get a degree at some point by attending these schools? Would that be better, you think?
They are, and they are working on it. I know for sure that they're working on it. I don't know the pace of how much they're working on it.
Slow.
Yeah, they're definitely moving slow because the Air Force already does this. The Army already does this. So we're definitely behind the power curve whenever it comes to that. I know that the intentions and we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah. But
again, it comes to at those levels is very politics.
Yeah.
It's a lot of politics. And I think that's why, that's one of the reasons why it moves so slow, because of all the politics involved in it.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that though?
I think, we make it mandatory. Why do we make it mandatory?
To go to attend those courses?
Because if it wasn't mandatory, nobody would go.
Yeah.
So we make it a promotion requirement, which I do think is an amazing thing.
Yeah.
I just believe that the Marine Corps, like BCP, needs to get their head out of their prison wallet and make it to where enlisted Marines don't have such a hard time. I mean, I know there's a lot less officers in the Marine Corps, obviously.
Yeah.
Dude, they send these guys in the Army. It's select, educate, promote. When you get selected for Sergeant Major, you don't get promoted until you finish the Sergeant Major's Academy, which is somewhere in Texas. And that's a PCS. It's like a 10-month course.
Wow.
We don't do that in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
Why? Because we're used to doing more with less, which is great. That's part of what makes Marines great, and I get it. I just think, there's no reason. There is no reason for it. We send officers to schools all the time.
Yeah.
I'm talking, these guys Marines don't even see this stuff, man. I've seen lieutenant colonels go from command and go and be like a fellow, whatever the hell that is, at like Yale University, and they're just like part of the faculty, and they get a master's degree.
Yeah.
They ain't doing Marine Corps stuff. You're out there getting your teeth kicked in. I'm going to a new unit. You're going on deployment. Yeah. We're in the field, whatever it is. Maybe it's apples to oranges. I know people are going to say, "Oh, well, if you want to be an officer, be an officer." That's a cop out to me. Get the enlisted Marines on a track to earn a degree. It ain't hard. The system is already in place. You're making it mandatory for these Marines to go to school, but it's like I said with BCP, right? It's like, surprise, I do this. I was the only one to speak out against BCP almost, I don't know, what was it, 3 or 4 years ago? And I called it like I saw. The BCP program is the worst program in the Marine Corps. It's the worst one. Yeah. Right? Because if talent management is. If you guys don't know this, okay? If a Marine is getting separated for BCP, think about what we're saying. You cannot eat. You can't control what you eat. You can't control what goes in your soup cooler. That's Marine speak for mouth, right? And we're going to administratively separate you from the Marine Corps. Like, how embarrassing is that? You got to go home and say, I got kicked out because I couldn't stop eating. First thing that goes off in my mind is, yes, I understand food addiction is a real thing, but I think it could be a red flag for something deeper. As leaders, are we looking for that, or are we just quick to go, you're fat, get on the scale, BCP, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. I don't like that mentality.
Yeah, and that's how, so I ran the BCP program for my battalion. Yeah. And I was the SD chief, right? And definitely that's how it was being ran. And what a lot of people don't understand, that before you train somebody's body, they need to be mentally prepared. And that's the very first thing. Remember, most of the guys, based on my experience, you probably had another experience, obviously, way more because of Sergeant Major. You saw all those people, you were the one that gave like,
Dude,
a good
I had a Marine
right?
who came in my office, bawled his eyes out. We're talking ugly cry. We're not talking like he was like a sergeant major. I'm so sorry because, I know I've let you down. Dude, this fool couldn't even, he was, I don't know because I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
2 days later, one of his staff NCOs comes to me, shows me a video of this guy doing one of those 6-pound burrito challenges from San Diego. What is it, 6, 7? Y'all know what I'm talking about. I don't even know what the burrito shop is. And he was laughing and blah, blah, blah. Those are the times as a Sergeant Major I felt very taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Because you want to give every member every opportunity. But if you guys didn't know this, when you get separated from the Marine Corps for BCP, Body Composition Program, it's the Marine Corps Weight Control Program, 9 times out of 10, what is going to happen, at least what you're going to be recommended for, you're not getting an honorable discharge. You're going to get a general.
General, yeah.
And the benefit that you lose, the biggest one, is your GI Bill. I just did a video on this the other day. Think about how much money is a GI Bill. I don't even know.
Around $90,000.
That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know what the GI Bill is, once I'm out of the Marine Corps, I could use it when I'm in, but just for the sake of the podcast. Once I'm out of the Marine Corps, I go to an accredited college and they are going to pay my tuition and I'm going to get paid also the BAH rate for wherever I go to school. Okay? Not where you live if you didn't know that. And you got 36 months of that. If you're not good at math, that's 3 years. You lost that because you got separated from the Marine Corps. A lot of people don't know that, man.
Yeah.
And
well, a lot of people don't even know. A lot of people don't even know that they're gonna get separated from the Marine Corps if they go on BCP.
They don't. So I do this video 3 or 4 years ago. BCP program sucks. Finally, we're changing the BCP program, right? And what did they keep? The taping method. They kept the taping method.
That's also changing now.
I hope it does.
Yeah,
it can't change soon enough. Yeah. Because it's like, where are our priorities, man? You're going to fire somebody. And I'll be honest with you. I'm going to be real, man. I'm just going to say it, dude. I don't think being overweight is the crime of the century. Yeah. Like, I'm sorry, dog. It's so, is it bad? Yeah. Do you look bad in uniform? Yeah.
There's a lot of those that are hard workers, specifically the aviation people.
Oh, do younger Marines look at it and go, "Oh, you're a dirtbag, you're a turd burglar, whatever they want to call you, you're a window licker, mouth breather, you're Jerry's kids, you ride the short bus." Just to name a few, right? But at the end of the day, it's like, dude, it's not the crime of the century.
Yeah.
And I did my best to not treat Marines like that, but it's just, I put those two things in the same vein. We're not serious about it, and the right people aren't highlighting it and stuff like that. So anyways, that's my piece on it. But can I ask you a couple other questions?
Of course.
So when I did a recent video, and Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps just took over, Sergeant Major Carlos Ruiz, I've known him for an extremely long time. Amazing guy. Totally different from Troy Black. Posted the video. He is addressing his parents. He's Latino. In Spanish.
Yeah, I got so much shit for that.
What do you mean? You spoke Spanish in uniform?
Yeah.
When was the first time you recall speaking Spanish in uniform and somebody confronting you?
In boot camp.
Wow. What happened?
In boot camp. So my drill instructors, they, believe it or not, there's a lot of people that go to boot camp and doesn't know a lick of English. Because as long as you can say yes sir, no sir, I
recruiters.
Sir.
I'm kidding.
As long as you say yes sir, no so I sir, you're gonna be good.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna be good. But the problem is the understanding part. So there was this Colombian dude in boot camp.
Yeah.
That he didn't know anything. He was like, yes sir. And I was like, no, you need to do this. And then I was like, sir, this recruit speaks Spanish, sir. So they used me as his translator. But I was only authorized to speak in Spanish whenever they call me over, and it was like, you tell him that I'm gonna fuck him up.
What would you say to him?
So it was like, hey, mira, brother, te van a comer el culo.
Wow, that's funny, bro.
Yeah, so it's like, hey, mira, brother, you gotta do this. Te tienes que hacer esto porque si no. So yeah, so that's
a way different Spanish than like the Spanish I'm used to in California.
The problem wasn't really that. It was just the people that didn't know that you can actually like talk in Spanish.
Can you speak Spanish in uniform?
Yes, 100%. You can.
Why do we put this out there? Like, because dude, leaders crush their Spanish-speaking service members.
Yeah.
Dude, you know how many people sent me the Army's policy, the AR 600-20, and I'm like, you guys, it explicitly sent me or says in there, because people send me the DoD policy and the Navy policy as well. I'm like, I'm well aware of what it says. It says there, clear as day, commanders may not prohibit Marines from speaking Spanish in uniform.
Yep.
Like, you can't have that policy because, as I said in the video, it's possible that you could get yourself in hot water for discrimination and violating your Title 7 rights.
Yeah, I definitely, there was a couple of times that specifically in the...
But people get weird about it.
Well, no, there's people straight up get racist about it. You know, and when I was in artillery,
you can't party without Artie.
Yeah, you can't party without, or you can't spell party without Artie.
Dang! Wow! Shout out to the artillery guys out there.
So
guns up.
There was straight up, you know, NCOs when I was a PFC and Lance Corporal. That was like, we're in America. You gotta talk
Constitution's
Spanish.
written in English.
Yeah. So they got very you know, but at the same time, again, not the victim mentality. What I used to do was I used to show them and I used to prove them. Like, I don't care that I can't speak, or I could speak English, but my accent came out. You know,
yeah.
So they would always used to make fun of my accent, specifically my laugh, because in Spanish you write ha ha ha, J. So they always used to do stuff like that, right? So, anyways, you know, there was straight up, and I'm pretty sure that this stuff still happens out there.
I just got a phone call. That's why I'm asking. I literally got a phone call from a Lance Corporal 2 weeks ago. Dude, I'll pull it up in my. I got it right here in my notes, man. I mean, this guy. What are you? You know? Let me see here.
And it's. I'm gonna tell you this while you look.
Here.
Oh, you got it.
Lance Corporal, 2nd MLG. Pay attention, 2nd MLG. Corporal makes racist comments about citizenship. Plays favorites with another Lance Corporal who went to school with the Lance Corporal who called me, right? So, you know, we've all been there. You're checking in with somebody together, whatever. That the NCOs play favorites with the Lance Corporal, the other Lance Corporal, and talk bad about the Hispanic Lance Corporal to him. So you got a corporal talking bad to you, your Lance Corporal, about this Lance Corporal over here who speaks Spanish. And the kid was born in Tennessee. The Marine, excuse me. The Marine was born in Tennessee. You know? It's been going on for a year. The Hispanic Lance Corporal, this one pissed me off right here. The Hispanic Lance Corporal, the one who's calling me, he approached 2 of his sergeants. Now, what kind of freaking courage would that take, right? A lot.
Yeah.
You know? How is this going to go? I'm probably going to get my teeth kicked in. I don't even know, right? What was the sergeants? The sergeants told him to get promoted. Get promoted. There's your course of action, buddy.
Oh, my God.
Right? Come to me with your problems, and here's what I'm going to tell you. Get promoted. And then...
Yeah, go ahead.
When asking his NCO for knowledge, the NCO calls him effing stupid. The same one who makes the racist comments. So he's going up to him, trying to be a better worker, trying to be a better Marine, trying to gain knowledge. What would you say to that Marine, like, you know, legally, like, what should he do? What's his course? He's already gone to 2 of his sergeants.
Here is why a lot of they let
get me pissed off.
They
again,
let
dude.
their emotion. And I used to be this Lance Corporal, by the way. The reason why I know, whenever it comes to my finances, whenever it comes to my career, the reason why I give this pieces of advice is because I've been the Lance Corporal that has lost his shit, and I know the repercussions of it. Right. So, and what would have helped me in order for me to not have the outcome that it did? Lance Corporals, I will say sergeants on down, what they fail to do is 2 main things. They let their emotions get the better of them, and then when they're giving a statement, you can read their emotions. That's the first thing. The second thing is they fail, and listen to me, they fail to document with specific dates, specific names, and everything, all of the situations. And then what happens is they let it build up, let it build up, let it build
They
up,
blow up.
and then they blow up. And then obviously, when you blow up on an NCO, you're automatically
wrong.
You're gonna be automatically wrong. That's just the way of the Marine Corps. I think that's just the way of the military.
Yeah.
You're gonna be automatically wrong. But when they ask him, so when
how dare you not control yourself?
When has this happened?
I mean, I know I've been racist, but
when has this happened? Well, it happened with this time and this time. And I was like, okay, where's the proof? Oh yeah, you got none. So automatically you're done. It's done. So if you are going through a situation like that, or any type of situation that you see that is going wrong, you have your phone with notes. Jesus Christ. Start taking some notes with some dates. On this date, Lance Corporal such and such told me that Corporal such and Corporal such and such approached me on this date and called me effing stupid. I approach, the right approach to that is like, Corporal, I would appreciate if you don't call me stupid.
yeah,
I know it's
100%. Yeah,
I know it sounds silly, but I promise you, if you take that higher road,
it does sound kind of silly because a lot of people. But I agree with you because
it sounds
a lot of
silly.
people are going to go. Especially we put this online. I'd punch him.
Yeah.
You wouldn't. Okay,
Yeah.
respectfully.
Yeah.
Most people are not going to do that because you don't want to. Like you said, now
some
you're
people
in
are
trouble.
married. No, but some people are married, and if they get NJP for assault, you know what
Yeah.
happens? Now they're the ones with 45
Yeah.
restriction of pay. Their wife and you know, if we're talking about realistically, right?
Yeah.
Their wife and kid.
You
now
just
are in-
ended. You could have ended your career.
Exactly. So most people will not punch him because of that. Corporal, I respectfully for you not to call me stupid. That's all you have to do. You don't have to forget the response that the corporal gives you. Oh, screw you. It's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You go up to the sergeant. Sergeant, on this date, Corporal such and such called me stupid. He said a racist comment. Now I'm coming up to you. Boom. You come up. And then you keep documenting stuff all the way up to the proper channel. It doesn't even have to be a request mass. But now, if it comes to the level that you do need to request mass, you already have everything documented, and you can show the proof to your CO or to your first sergeant or to whatever level you decide to escalate it that it was documented and that it was happening.
My conversation that I had with him was really good. He is in this mental space where he does not want to out himself. Because you and I both know, you request mass, you go to the equal opportunity representative, 9 times out of 10, what's going to happen? You're going to get blackballed.
Yeah.
You're a rat now. You ain't part of the clique no more. Right? You can't sit at this table.
Yeah.
Right? Like in Forrest Gump. Can't sit here. That's what happens, right? So he's like, what do I do? I said, well, you know, my first course of action would be the equal opportunity representative. And one thing that always bothered me as a sergeant major was Marines don't know what it is. They don't know how the process works, whether it's EO, whether it's request mass. And to them, it's like my hand is hovering over the red button like it's the nuclear option.
Yeah.
And what I told them was, you can talk to the equal opportunity representative without submitting a complaint.
And a lot of people, it's just that a lot of people...
Because you're going to get to that point where the EO says, do you want to submit a complaint? You can say, no, I just wanted to get some advice.
Yeah.
Dude, you guys need to start doing that more often. Well, he's like, well, then everybody's going to know who I am. I said, okay, I get that. Well, do you have any type of anonymous reporting thing?
House mouse. What's that
Any
called?
mouse.
Any mouse.
They didn't have any of that. I said, if it was me, I was in your shoes. I respect what you're saying. And by the way, I'm not going to call anybody that I know on the East Coast, okay? Yeah. I said, I'd write a note. I'd find out whoever your EO is. I'd either be there after hours, leave it on their desk. I'd put it on the windshield of their car. I would find a way to make that report to the EO.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I said, because my EOs, what they would do is the ones at the battalion levels aren't the most experienced, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, they just get assigned.
They're not idiots. They're not idiots or
Yeah.
anything like that. But at the same time, so what would my EOs normally do? They would come to me. Hey, Sergeant Major, like, you know, just so you know, I got this conversation from this Marine. You know, obviously it's not a formal complaint. We can't do anything about it as far as like take legal action or anything. Yeah. So this conversation can't leave this room. But as a Sergeant Major, I knew now. Okay, Corporal freaking Snuggles is down there making racist comments. Cool. I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna make sure I am around at key times, asking key questions, and I'm going to be pulling that information out.
Yeah.
Because now I'm keeping you protected. And this is kind of what I told them. I said, now, because request mass, that's Red Star Cluster.
Yeah.
You just sent an alarm off to the whole freaking unit.
Yeah, but listen, this is what I got. I get what you're saying, right? I do get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But the problem is that if it's gotten to that point, in my opinion, if it's gotten to that point that corporal is saying so many racist comments out in public, out in the open.
Yeah.
That's a toxic work environment.
Well, dude, that's what I told him. I was like, bro, at some point,
there's something
if he's
that needs
doing
to be
it
done.
to you, who else is he doing it to? Who else is he gonna do it to?
Because he feels
Who's gonna stop me?
he feels that sense of authority over other people.
Yeah, because unfortunately, you've dealt with. There's some people they get in that position of authority, and that's what they do with it.
Yeah, and that's correct.
Okay.
So that's I think that's bullshit. But yeah, I think if you are not comfortable doing the request mass process, at least at the bare minimum, get everything documented. Because trust me, if it's not you, it's going to be because of somebody else that he's going to do it to, because those are repeated patterns of that individual.
And when I'm saying that, and to you and here in this room, the other people I'm thinking about, they're the women.
True.
You're getting harassed. It's and maybe it's not like overt, right? Like just like in your face kind of thing. Maybe it's like a little, little undertone, a little joke.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's how it starts.
That's how it starts, though.
Yeah.
That's how it starts. And then what you need to do is like, I agree with you. Hey, I'm not okay with that. Corporal, bull, sergeant, whatever the rank.
But you said boundaries. You got to set boundaries.
And I think women are a lot better at that than guys in a lot of ways. And I think part of the reason is because they have to deal with that stuff, more often than guys do. Or if they're not dealing with it more often, guys just stay silent because you don't want to look like some type of way to the people that are in your world. But all right, so let's get to some more questions here. Do you regret joining the Marine Corps?
I don't at all. No. But joining the Marine Corps has been the best thing that has ever happened to my life.
What are you going to say to the people that say it couldn't have been the best thing or you wouldn't have got out? What do you say to them?
Good question. So the reason why I got out of the Marine Corps was because the Marine Corps taught me, sent me to schools, which I'm so thankful for.
Yeah.
To learn the things that has made me a lot of money outside of the Marine Corps. So, and it's not just about the money. I'm just going to say that because I mention money because everyone,
but financial freedom is huge.
Yeah, but I don't equal success to a dollar amount. And a lot of people just like, if you got 50, you got 100. If you got $1 million in your bank account, you're successful.
I don't know if it makes you successful, but I'm going to quote the great Kanye West. Okay. I just pissed off so many people.
Even Jaime over there is laughing.
I'm so sorry. Having money's not everything. Not having it is. And when Marines come to me and they say, I'm scared of getting out, I give them two scenarios. This is what I say. Scenario one, you have no money in the bank. You have a ton of debt. Credit cards maxed out.
Yeah.
You owe on a car payment.
Yeah.
You have no job lined up. You have nowhere to live. How do you feel?
Like I'm re-enlisting.
Like I'm re-enlisting, right? Dude, you're stupid. We're laughing, and there's people right now in that position. Yeah. So, is it all about money? No. Scenario two. You got a great job lined up. You went through Skill Bridge. You got an associate's or a bachelor's degree. Mm-hmm. You have $15,000 in the bank.
Not enough, by the way. 15,000.
Not enough at all, but
it's something better than zero.
It's way better than zero, right? Okay, so you got the job lined up, you got the education, got $15,000 in the bank, and you got a nice apartment lined up in hometown USA. Now, how do you feel? I feel great, Sergeant Major. No kidding, Space Cadet.
Yeah.
Just like when you went to the field, what did you do? You established the target on the PowerPoint, on the board.
Yeah.
We're going to the field on this day to do this because of this, blah, blah, blah. What did you do? You back plan.
Yeah.
We're going to, okay, we need this many people, this much gear, this many, and then you go to the field.
And I'm going to add something to that. It doesn't matter how much proper planning that you do, because what it sounds like you're doing is like, hey, the more you plan, the more, the better the chances of you succeeding are.
Yeah.
That's essentially what you're trying to say.
Well, what I'm saying is by having those things, you aren't as scared, and with that stuff you give yourself a lot more lateral movement and freedom.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm scared regardless. I was scared regardless, and I was making good money in real estate. But the reason, let me tell you, right, my passion is not just necessarily real estate, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. My passion is helping others.
Singing.
Yeah, well, just on the shower,
Hey,
but
baby,
but my true passion is really helping others.
Yeah,
and because in real estate, specifically an industry as competitive as it is in real estate, people want to choose someone that relates to. So, matter of fact, just before getting here, I had a phone call from one of my TikTok followers. He's pre-approved for $900,000. He wants to buy a home, and he wants to utilize me as a realtor because I'm a Marine. He sees my TikToks. He likes how I conduct myself.
He has access to you.
Yeah. So for me, that's everything. Mm-hmm. Not just necessarily the money. Mm-hmm. It's the fact that I am able to help others make them money in the long term, mm-hmm. and at the same time myself making living. Like it was like I say, like what do I do? A lot of people, specifically a lot of real estate.
But would you have got out if you weren't doing good in real estate?
Most likely.
What would you have done? That's a big most likely, by the way.
Yeah, that's a big most likely. Because I don't know, because I was super passionate about real estate. Probably would have done something in sales. Mm-hmm. Something commission based in sales. Because
do you think recruiting helped you with that sales piece?
It's everything.
That's all it is. Right?
Listen, I'm a completely different person. If you would have made me a Sergeant Ramos, you as a sergeant, you would probably love me.
Yeah,
probably would have I probably would have gotten pulled into your office a couple times, but you probably would have loved me because mm-hmm. I'm extremely passionate. Yeah. For everything that I do, and that's the thing. Like I'm very passionate about helping others, and it came out to be that
most Marines are.
It came out to be that I was very passionate, about real estate and everything that I'm doing in real estate. So yes, I mean, to answer your question, I probably would have still gotten out because for me it wasn't about that. For me it was about literally being able to be with my family. Mm-hmm. And I felt betrayed by the Marine Corps that I've given them so much. And it's not that I didn't want to stop. It's not that I wanted to stop giving. It's just that
you felt like you were owed some stuff that you didn't get.
I've seen so many, and you've probably seen them too. So many E9s, so many E8s that are 20, 22 years old, and they have this illustrious career, this great career that everyone's so proud of. But then you meet their children, you meet their families, and for most of them don't even have their families. Mm-hmm. And some of them, they're not really well connected with their children. And then now, when you could have been there for this entire time with your children, I wasn't going to let that because my children needed me the most. And I still struggle with it. I don't want to sound like I'm like the perfect dad or whatever because I'm still going through my struggles, right? But at the same time,
what about military life made you feel like you couldn't, or not that you couldn't, I guess, maybe couldn't, but that you weren't there, if I'm hearing you correctly?
Well, it's not that I wasn't there. It's just that my kids needed me and I needed to be there physically for them. They needed a father figure to be there present. I got two boys. They're
so what
like
are we talking about? Are we talking about, baseball games, first day of school?
I'm talking about training them or showing them their math. My kid EFMP
because you were at work.
Because I was not necessarily at work because I was deployed. I don't get work is fine. I can get home I can be but essentially, and this is the reason because they wanted to move me from first supply battalion to second supply battalion to do the exact same job. So there wasn't even job progression for me. They were just sending me somewhere just to send me somewhere. If they would have told me, hey, you're going to 2nd MLG to be the MLG distribution chief, hell yeah, sign me up. You know why? Because that's a billet that shows career progression for me. But they were sending me from 1st Supply Battalion as the distribution chief to from 1st Supply Battalion as the distribution chief to 2nd Supply Battalion as the distribution chief.
What would you say to because a lot of people don't know this, nearly 40% of the DOD all have kids. What would you say to the parents out there that are struggling with the same thing?
The same thing that I did. And the reason why I felt so comfortable getting out. Scared, but comfortable. Find yourself. Start thinking. You don't have to start executing. Start brainstorming right now. What is it that you're going to do once you get out of the Marine Corps? Because it doesn't
I love the Skill Bridge program, dude. I do.
It's great. It's great. It's a great program.
It's not everything.
It's a great program.
It could grow into something a lot better.
Yes. But what you need to do is you need to start thinking and start doing a brainstorming session and start identifying the things that you can start doing while you're inside of the Marine Corps.
Employment.
Well, not necessarily
After
employment.
the Marine Corps.
Let's say you're trying to fill a GS-12 position, right? Or outside of the Marine Corps, or any type of private sector positions. What do they require? You go to USA Jobs and you can tell what they require: a master's degree in this many years of experience in this, and start working that, because it doesn't matter if you do 4, if you do 30, your clock to get out of the Marine Corps is ticking.
Yeah,
and there's things that you could be taking advantage of while you're in order for you to be successful once you transition, whether it'll be at 4 or whether it be at 30. I have friends of mine that are master sergeants, got out at 20, 22 years old, 22 years in the Marine Corps, and they call me freaking scared.
Of course.
Because they dedicated their entire life in the Marine Corps. It's like, man,
the money's going to stop.
I know I can do this, but Jesus Christ, it's going to be...
The money's going to stop, and how do I pay my bills? Can we make this like a separate clip, Jaime? Sure. Dude, if you're out there, stitch this, react to it, and you are well-versed in veteran employment opportunities, possibilities, you consider yourself a mentor in that area, you know where veterans are hiring, take this, share it, clip it, do whatever you got to do, comment on it, because I'm going to tell you guys, I know you deal with it. I hear from veterans every day that are scared, and I do my best to turn them on and to put them on game and put them onto resources and, lace them up on some, hey, dog, this is what you need to do.
Yeah, and one of the things that I actually do in order for me to do that is building 13150 for all of you guys that are looking for the resources. Building 13150 aboard Camp Pendleton. That's the MCCS headquarters building.
What is it, 13150?
13150 in Camp Pendleton. That's the headquarters building for MCCS, and they help out with employment. And they send out emails every so often on when they're doing their job fairs.
I know where that's at. That's by headquarters of support battalion.
That is by
the armory.
That is by the right next to the 13 area medical clinic.
Medical. If you guys are at Camp Pendleton, you don't know, you got the medical and dental. Okay, you got the chow hall over here, medical and dental. You got the little armory, and you got headquarters of support battalion. And down that hill, there's a building. You can see it, but then you go down a little hill. You got to park up here, go down a little hill. That's the MCCS headquarters. Correct. And I've done classes over there, and there's a ton of people. They'll help you out with your resume over there.
Yeah, correct. So
you need to go in that building not knowing why you're there and walk in and say, this is me.
Yep.
This is what I'm hoping to get. Can you guys help me? Dude, they will either be able to help you with it or get you in contact with somebody that can. Okay, like I tell all my people that I work with, man, once you make a commitment, I'll make sure you never fail. That's what they're going to do. You got to take the action, you got to pull the trigger, and you got to get involved. So,
correct.